Mark, just the big turnaround, kind of end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter. What was that group able to do to flip the momentum of this one and get you playing the way you wanted to?
Yeah, I thought that was a huge stretch of the game, the end of the first. The group that was out there, we were down, I don't know what it was, probably 14 or 15, which is a huge deficit in the first quarter. And to get that like into striking distance was huge. And then the group to start the second, got us back in the game very quickly. We were able to build a lead before halftime. So I thought that group, it got started late in the first there.
And just what a kind of pivot moment that Isaiah blocked from behind on Davis was. And can you kind of put into context what you think that meant for the game, even though you guys had a pretty solid lead?
Yeah, I thought it was like an energy, work win tonight. I just thought we really exerted ourselves on the game, in our defense, how we scrambled, our running. We were just fast tonight, and I thought we worked for that win. So that play, was included in that. But I thought we had a lot of plays tonight that were like that.
I've spent a whole bunch of time asking you pregame about J-Dub with kind of those units where he's the primary guy. How did you think he struck that balance tonight?
I thought that unit was really good. I thought the ball really moved. We played in a really good flow. We were small and we were flying around defensively, getting stops, put us out on the break. They shared it. He was on the gas tonight. But, long way to go. We're not even 20 games in. So, are we 20 games in? Yeah, we're not even 20 games in, like I said. So there's ways to go here. We're going to keep building. It's going to be ups and downs, but he and that unit were really good tonight.
And then how would you put this week kind of into perspective for Chet, starting with Embiid, and then you go have Rudy Gobert, and then come back tonight with AD?
Yeah, learning experience. He's going to be a better player because of every experience he has, the way he interacts with his experiences, and even if this week was the biggest disaster you could imagine, he'd still be better for it because it allows him to calibrate, learn the league, get stress tested by some of the best players up front in the NBA. And he held his own, obviously, throughout the week, but the biggest thing is he'll learn from it and grow from it.
Mark, kind of along the same lines. Anthony Davis finishes with 31, but 15 of those came in the first quarter. Just how did you see, not just Chet, but the five-man defense kind of adjusted throughout the game?
Yeah, we went small against them a good amount tonight, and so it was definitely a five-man defense. You can't defend him, with a small defender one-on-one. But I just thought we had a really, really good recognition of who they try to play through, and we put him in a crowd. I thought we did a good job, an appropriate job on James. Those guys got numbers tonight, and they were efficient because they're great players, but I thought there were a lot of possessions where we forced them out of what they want to do, made them uncomfortable, mixed defenses, used our energy. Like I said, it was an energy win. Used our energy to force them to plan B on a lot of possessions.
Yeah, and the Lakers are somewhat of like a middling rebound team, but obviously AD's a force in itself. Just how did you feel the glass? Obviously, you out-rebounded 51 to 46. Just the team defense, the rebounding. How did you feel that unfolded, especially with Isaiah Joe flying around and whatnot?
Yeah, I thought, like I said, I thought all the way around it was just like an energy win. I think that's the theme. We just worked for that win. I thought we got hits on Davis. We didn't just leave it to one guy to block him out. I thought we got in there and got involved in the play. But I thought our energy in every facet of the game was really, really good tonight. We went out and earned a win in an NBA game, which is the mentality we have to have every night.
Yeah, you talked about Chet, but he seemed to kind of learn as the game was going on. Just specifically that aspect, what did you think about him learning as the game went on?
Yeah, I think that's the key. That's the key with him. It's the key with our team. I know we've gotten some good outcomes to start the season, but there's a long way to go, and there's a lot of learning ahead of us, and we can't get distracted by the outcomes of games, whether they're positive or negative. We've got to be a team that grows with the season and grows with our experiences, and Chet does a great job of that, but as a team, that needs to be our mentality because the road is long.
And then you guys played a few teams that are really good at drawing fouls, but you guys also played good defense. But tonight seemed like you found that balance between playing really good defense and not fouling. What was the key to that?
Yeah, I thought we were really physical tonight. I thought, like I said, that was an effort win. We exerted a lot of energy on the game. It showed up in our defense. There were some of those fouls were just physicality fouls. Some of them were still cheap and things we can learn from. Reaching in on Reeves and letting him just kind of bait the officials into a foul. That's the stuff we've got to cut out. We've got to own that one. But things we can learn from. We didn't play a perfect game, but we played a hard game. Played it hard.
Yeah, Mark, you mentioned the rebounding earlier. Lou in the first half was really effective on the offensive glass. Is that something that he's just intuitively doing, or is that something you guys have looked at as a focus?
You guys have asked a lot about the defensive rebounding, but to start the season, we were really, really poor on the offensive glass. And a lot of it was our crashing. I mean, we weren't going enough. If you looked at our metrics from last season, and the last, I'd say 8 games or so, we're sending more people. And I give the guys credit because we've had a couple games in there where we've sent a lot of guys and haven't gotten the ball, but we're staying with that. And that's what I'm talking about. You know, we've just got to be a team that learns the lessons from the season, identify the things we're doing well, double down on them, identify the things that are holding us back, improve them, come to practice tomorrow, work on those things again, test it again against Dallas. We just got to repeat that, 65 more times or however many games we have.
What can you guys say about just about everybody except the guy that had 33 points and was all NBA last year? And this seems so routine for Shea, like what he's doing. What maybe aren't we seeing? What aren't we asking you that's going into what he's doing?
That's your job to figure out what you're not asking me. I don't know what you're not asking me. I mean, the invisible stuff, every player, there's invisible work that goes behind what you see out there on the court. His, like I've said before, great work ethic, great vision. He defends, he's a 2-end player, and he invests in the team, and that's the invisible stuff. He rebounds for guys on low intensity days where the other guys are getting workouts. He'll pass in a workout. He's in the gym first on a lot of days. But he invests in the team. He's plugged into the group. He's invested in his teammates. Like I said before, there's a gravity that pulls great players away from the team. That's just a natural force in the NBA. And if you want to be a part of the team, it has to be intentional when you're on his level. And to his credit, he's intentional and he plugs back in every single day.
Martin,
Draw. Go ahead.
you always talk about advantages. You talk about the pregame when talking about Dub and how you're navigating that aggressively. With Chet specifically, we saw a few advantages, with AD one-on-one, a few possessions. I know he doesn't shoot a wild amount of shots, but how are you seeing him navigate that level of aggression game by game?
Well, I thought, he's starting to stretch his limits a little bit, and we're good with that because he's a really talented player. Sometimes the game requires that. A couple of those were like low shot clock where he had to just go get a shot for us. And he's shown an understanding to this point of what an efficient, impactful, consistent style of play looks like. And when you build that kind of trust and equity in the locker room more than anything, then guys have, you earn the bandwidth from your teammates to stretch a little bit. And I think you see that with all of our guys. Some of the threes Isaiah Joe will take, he takes tough ones, but he earns that, inside the locker room. So nobody really bats an eye at it. He doesn't make a habit of it. He's got a diet of very efficient shots, and so does Chet, and that's ultimately what we want with all our guys.
You threw some mention of the defenses. You threw it to guys. Was that a product they got out to the fast start, or did you know you were going to do that?
What defense?
The defenses that you said you mixed.
Yeah, mixed defenses. Yeah. We were planning on playing some zone tonight. We did that. We were planning on mixing our looks in terms of double teams. We continue to be a team that is learning when to do that, when it's appropriate. The guys are making those decisions on the fly, on the court. We're not necessarily calling those, and it's not a video game. We're trying to really teach them to be critical thinkers. And they're starting to really identify good situations to do that in. And I thought our guys' intellect showed up on that end of the floor tonight, and it keeps the opponents off balance when they don't know where it's coming from and when.
They're not as good as Minnesota with their zone, but then they threw something at you. You did better at it. Learning from the other night, what Minnesota did against you, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you lose a game to Minnesota. I think it's easy to look at it and say, the zone messed us up. That's an opportunity for us, in disguise. Is every time something becomes a hurdle, that's how you get stronger through the season. Is you see hurdles and you figure out how to clear them. That's how we get better as coaches in terms of how we solve problems. It's how the players get better in terms of how they solve problems. And those stress tests make us better. And so the NBA is full of adversities, and we can't shy away from those. Even if it loses us a game or something like that, we got to see the adversities as an opportunity. Thought we did a great job coming out of Minnesota, learning a couple things we could have done better against zone. Thought we did that better tonight. Made a couple more shots against it, which is helpful. And we've just got to do that in every facet.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thanks.